All right. Welcome to Gravity Train, the podcast dedicated to helping you become resilient against all the forces that pull you down. My name's Bruno. I'm the founder of Gravity Trained. This is my dad, Cleber, and together we run a company called Gravity Trained where we help people with posture issues or athletes that want to up their game. So, the topic of today is going to be breaking bad habits, why we form bad habits, and how we can break them. So I really think this topic matters more than anything because at the end of the day, you are what you do. You are what you repeatedly do, right? And so if you don't get this right, then there's always going to be some level of self-sabotage or internal dialogue that's going to create a lot of internal conflict. What do you think, Dad?
Hey everybody, so I'm Cleber. So as Bruno said, I'm his daddy, and we are in this journey together to even for ourselves. I mean, who doesn't have a bad habit? And when you talk about bad habits, it's something that you gotta be aware. It's a constantly we have to constantly be aware because bad habits are all around us every day, every minute. You got a decision to make, you know, like either being too lazy, working too much, working too little, delaying things. These are all bad habits that end up affecting our lives. If you're talking about sports, I mean, there we go. If you start being too lazy, you're not going to get things done. Or if you smoke, if you drink, if you do drugs, if you stay in the couch, so little things that you may not think that is a bad habit, but it is. So you gotta be aware, constantly be aware about these small bad habits that we have. So that's why we think this topic is so important to talk about and clarify this.
So I think the first place we can go to in this conversation is just understanding where bad habits come from, right? Like what actually creates a bad habit. So like what would you consider what would you consider to be that sort of origin? Like where do bad habits come from in your experience?
I mean, I would say that is lifestyle. I guess things that happen to your life could be. I mean, people usually influence your lifestyle, your way of thinking, acting, and take action about things that come your way. And I believe that most of the time, people don't even realize how bad these small bad habits can be. So I believe that they come from all directions. So there's not a specific uh, way or model of a habit that comes our way. Could be through people like bad companies, you know, could be like something that you're so sick and tired of doing, and then suddenly you just drop the ball, and then there comes a bad habit forming because you got so sick and tired of doing whatever you were doing that you don't want to do anymore. And there you start a new habit that end up being a bad one. I mean, and you could list up really dozens of bad habits here, like I just did a few of them. So I don't believe there's a specific, um, what is it, the word that I want to say? Not in a specific way that these bad habits come. That's why you got to be so aware. What do you think, really?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think habits come like on their own, right? They come as a consequence of the environment you're in and the influences you will let in, right? I read recently, and I think this is kind of counterintuitive, but I do think it makes a lot of sense. It's bad habits are usually good intentions misguided, right? And I think
Hmm.
we talked about this a little bit ago. And what that means is your brain learns to your brain teaches you certain attitudes and behaviors first and foremost because it wants to protect you and because it wants to survive, right? So it's much easier for us to do the bad thing, like sitting down on the couch or eating way too much, than getting out and actually walking 5 minutes, or instead of reaching for a donut, stopping and thinking, am I just thirsty? Do I just need to drink more water? Because habits, yeah, it's like a cultural thing, right? It's like like this weekend was Thanksgiving weekend, right? And I have clients that are on their journey to lose weight. And they were asking me, how do I control myself when there's so much food, right? And I told them what I thought worked, which usually does, but not in this holiday. And I'll explain why. I told them, eat before you go to the party so you're not so starved that you overeat, right? And I did that. I ate before going to the party so I didn't overeat. But what happened? I still overate, right? And then I start to think, why did I overeat even though I know what I should have done? And it's because culturally, this holiday celebrates and rewards gluttony. It rewards overeating and it celebrates excess, right? And so, how can you break a habit if the influences and environments around you are telling you, why would you do that?
That's a good point, Bruno, that you just brought up, like a reward. So that's the thing that kills people good habits. I guess because, oh, I didn't eat the whole week. I behaved myself the whole week. So each weekend, oh, I can reward myself eating way more than I should. So they self-rewarding. So that's part of mistake, and could happen for many things. I mean, the drug addicts. I mean, I haven't used drugs for like a month. But now it's just a weekend. I'm just gonna do it. I deserve it. I deserve it. So, it's
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard thing to put in check, you know? It's really hard to know, like, when to say no, right? Like, how do you say no, right? And so this kind of goes into our second point, which is what triggers you to have a bad habit, right? And so um there's this really good book called Atomic Habits where he explains the process of a habit. So the loop is, there's four triggers. There's four kind of phases of um of a habit, of you forming a habit. There's a trigger. The trigger gives you a craving. That craving makes you act on something, and then that action feeds you a reward. And so that loop makes you addicted to the habit, right? And so for someone like who's a drug addict or someone who's lazy or someone who eats too much, um, how do you change the trigger, the craving, the action, and the reward? Because it's really a loop to really, you have to substitute the habit for something else, right? What do you think, man?
Uh, Even before I read that book, because I read that book as well, I heard that because, I mean, you can never really kill a bad habit, an addiction, or something like that. you gotta replace it. So, and that's the thing. You gotta replace it, and you gotta start small. Don't think that. I mean, for some people, whatever addictions I had in life, I was very incisive and cut for the root. But not in everybody can do it. You know, but so many people gonna have to go slow, and they you keep tripping and you go back and you trip and you go back. But you gotta find something to break this bad habit with a good habit. All right, so there's an example that I can give about this loop. For example, for people that are like eating junk food, for example, you're in your kitchen, you walk into the kitchen and you see a cookie there. So that's the cue. So wow, you just remember. Okay, I like cookies. You go there, then you crave for that sweet taste, and then you want to eat it. Of course, what's the response? Your brain brings it, you act on it, and then you eat the cook. All right, then what's the reward? You get a burst of pleasure, you get that sweet, and your brain just, okay, you're satisfied now. But every time that happens, you see that again, so you got to be aware of these cues. So what can you do for the queue? When you walk in the kitchen, get rid of all the cookies. Don't leave any cookies on the countertop. Don't even buy them. Or if you want to have them, hide them over there. Instead, leave some fruits. So that would be okay. Then you're gonna have the cube, but you're gonna grab maybe a fruit that there's a sweet, a banana, apple, or whatever there. So, and then you're gonna start slowly changing these bad habits, and that's how you can do it. And you can do it with many other things, with the cigarettes. If you smoke, if you stress, find something else. Don't try to pull up a cigarette or your phone that you have in your, because I was really, I am addicted to to social media. So what Bruno gave me, he gave me something. I mean, I knew that I was spending too much time on social media, Instagram and Facebook most of the time. So he gave me this thing here. We don't sell anything here in this podcast, but I'm going to talk about because I think it's right. We're not here to make any money on this, but there's this. It's called Brick, right? What this does? It's I don't have a handy here. Do you have your handy there, Bruno?
It's in the kitchen, but basically it's basically a square like this, and you scan your phone. Basically, oh, I have it on right now. So what it is, it's an app that you scan it, and when you scan it, you choose what apps you want to lock, and you cannot open your app unless you rescan it. So if you put this, let's say, on your fridge, and then you leave the house, and you have an urge to open the Instagram, it says here you're turned off Instagram. Your phone is currently bricked. To access this app, tap your brick. And then it says here back to living. And when it goes back to living, you cannot open your phone. You cannot
So
open this app.
y- you have to go physically. You gotta go there. Bruno would have to go stand up and go there to the kitchen. So what I do, I just leave. I break the apps that I don't want to use, which is pretty much Instagram and Facebook, and I go out to work. So I don't have access. Though sometimes I even go there, try to open. Meh, I don't have it. And then you end up being like 12, 14, 24 hours. Then sometimes 24 hours goes by. I say, well, I just want to do it again. And then you end up being 48 hours without using it, which is absolutely great. So get to know your addictions, and do something about it, right? Because I mean, every time I was going to Instagram, I would spend like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour of total waste of time. So I took
Yeah.
care of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to expand a little bit on the cues, or another way of it being said is triggers. And not only are you triggered to go into a habit loop on physical things, but also mental things, right? So just like having the thought of I'm hungry, that could trigger your brain to go, "Oh, you're hungry? Okay, well then let's go to McDonald's." Right? Like you create this path in your brain because you've done it so many times, or I'm third or I feel tired. What do? Let me go get an energy drink, right? It's like you form these bad habits with the best of intentions, but you've just been conditioned to think, "Oh, this is what maybe you don't think about it, it's what everybody else does, but it's like, well, this is what most people do to solve their problems. I'm like most people, and it's easier than thinking about, "How can I solve this problem intelligently?" This is the easy solution, man, don't think about it. Boom, this is it. You know what I mean? You're out with friends, what do? You smoke, you do drugs. It's like, that's what everybody else does. Why do I have to think about how is it ethically, morally, logically, like, what does this mean for my character? Man, just and so that's kinda how you start to form these bad habits, with the best of intentions, but then it leads you down a road that then for you to get out of, you have to spend time thinking, and I think that's where most people never that's what makes people stop changing, because there has to be accountability. You have to stop and think, "Why am I this way?" And then what has to happen for me to change? And I have to take accountability. I was the problem. I was the one that let myself get carried away. Not like, "Oh, this person made me do it," or right? I mean, do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You gotta take responsibility, and that's a tough thing to do because at least for me, on the bad habits that I had took me a long time because I mean you gotta agree, bad habits they're good.
They feel
You
great.
know, they're good.
They feel
That's
great.
why,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
who doesn't like a good thing? A good feeling. Everybody likes a good feeling, but not all the good feelings are good for you. So that's why it's to break bad habits. It's a tough call. And it is so important to be aware of them and learn uh, things about yourself and what you want for your life, for your health, for your family, for the people that you're around. And that's when you start cutting things, people, habits that are around you. And that's might be a tough call because you may have a very good friend, a close friend that you've been for years. But this guy or this girl has this thing that you've been doing for so many years that you don't want to do anymore. And you've been talking about it, but you're not being, you don't have the support of a friend or support in the family. And you want to break that habit, but you keep going back. You keep going back to the same place, to the same people. So you got to cut. You got to cut these people, let them loose and then go your own way. It's a tough call. People gonna call you things. People gonna hate you. People gonna think things about you. But nobody's coming to help you at the end of the day. It's you, and you gotta make a choice right here.
Then this brings us to, I think, which is the crux of the issue, which is you have to change how you see yourself and who you believe yourself to be, which is the identity that you resonate with, right? Willpower, I've learned this finally.
Excuse me.
Willpower, you cannot change habits with willpower. It comes from changing who you believe you are, right? Um, I've been studying about the reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain that scans the environment for what you believe is important to you. The best analogy, and I won't go too deep into it because I don't know that much about it yet to explain it thoroughly. But imagine your brain is like a club, like a nightclub, right? And there's a big party inside, and your reticular activating system is the bouncer, is the person who stands in front of the door and takes orders from the boss inside the club to and accepts people into the club or not. And so whatever the boss tells the bouncer lets in. So if you have bad habits, like um it can be anything, right? It can be anything bad or good for you. For example, I enjoy staying out late, right? I enjoy staying out late. Okay, well then we're going to start to allow you to do certain behaviors that allow you to stay out late. Now, how well you deal with those consequences is a whole nother matter. But then you're just, okay, then this is what I do. And so maybe then I have bad sleep. Then maybe I'm fat. Then maybe I have a bad temper. Maybe, I don't really, I don't know, multiple things. Maybe I don't like to look at people that are healthy because because my brain scans, I like to stay out late. And so people that don't, or I don't resonate with people that don't do that. And so you start looking at just the things that confirm your belief. And so when it comes to bad habits, it really comes down to who you believe you are, right? Um, it's all about telling a new story to yourself.
Yeah, and these stories keep repeating themselves in the places that you go. And back in the day, I mean, I just remember if I go by a certain place, I'm gonna do that certain thing. If I just because that's the place things happen, or the people that I go, you have a tendency to don't go outside your comfort zone. Yeah, and if your comfort zone is the bad habit, you're gonna stay there. You gotta break this bubble. As I said, by go away, stay out of the places that makes you do the things that you don't have to do. Like I do love going to like a how you say padaria, Bruno, like a bakery.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like where we live, my wife and I now in Portugal. We're in Brazil now, but in Portugal, like I live in this apartment, and that like the main floor, there's a bakery. Oh my gosh, it's so good over there. And then in the morning, eh, I I crave like this hot, warm bread. I gotta stay away from that bakery. And sometimes I do try because I do love it, but I don't want to keep eating that hot bread every morning. But I do eat all the good things, but you know, so that's one place that I gotta stay away from it. And as I said, that I cut a lot of people in my life in the past few years because they were not making any good for me. They were not bringing new the lifestyle that I was living in and didn't go didn't go well together. So I like sports. I don't like drinking. I don't like smoking. I don't like staying out at night. So, I mean, why am I going to hang out with these people that only like doing this kind of a thing? So it goes against my belief, the person that I am today,
Yeah. I
right?
think, uh, I think we've kind of covered what a bad habit is,
Yeah.
how it forms, how it impacts your life. So I think we should transition over to, like, what do you do? Okay, we get it. You know what I mean? Like, we get it. It's bad for us. We need a change, but how do you? And so, um, the way I've learned to change it, it starts with the identity layer. I need to know who I am, or who I am. And I'm literally trying to recreate myself. And so the way that I've learned to do it, I love to journal, and so I write a lot of my thoughts, but some people don't a lot of people don't do that. But what I have noticed can help people, um, is the self-affirmations, like telling yourself if you tell me right now, right? Like, I like to eat a lot and I don't care about my weight. If you just change your habit of saying instead of saying that, you go, "I care about my weight and I care about being healthy," that doesn't actually help. That doesn't that doesn't work because your brain is gonna hear that and it's not gonna believe you, right? And so what I've learned is not only is our affirmations important, but you need to have a a set of questions that you ask your brain to uh, to solve. Your brain loves problem solving, right? Your brain loves problem solving. It wants to find solutions. So what I've learned too is I'm on this process of building my business, of putting on more muscle, of being a better jujitsu player. And so I'll tell myself I have a thriving business. I take care of my body. I train to be a fucking problem to people. Like I tell myself these things, but I reinforce it with questions and I ask myself, what's the biggest thing I can do? What's the number one thing I can do today that's going to help me l- build my business so I can have freedom? What, you know, what type of life do I lead? Do I have to lead to make sure that health is a priority? And then the same thing with jujitsu. It's like what I've learned through the RAS, this reticular activating system, um, kind of study is your brain likes to close loops. So if you ask it a question, it's going to try to close it. And so that truly helped me. But that's just me. What about you?
Yeah, Bruno, I mean, I never thought about this like that, but well, I read things as well about this, but it's pretty intuitive with me, and I have ups and downs. I fail and I regain. Like it's kind of a daily, monthly battle for me on keeping up with my good habits. Um, I have some bad habits here and there, but nothing um, too big. And probably my biggest bad habit today is it's probably procrastination in some areas, and that's probably my worst. My wife probably would have a lot more to say about bad habits, but I think that would be the worst for me. But what I read, and I also think that people should think about is like, okay, if I'm a runner, and if I want to be someone, when you're gonna you're about to eat something, you might think, okay, what would a healthy person would do in this situation? What would this person would choose? You're gonna eat an apple or you're gonna eat a donut, you know? So this kind of a thing, you gotta position yourself. At the beginning, might be you're still not self-sure about who you are when you're changing this profile, let's say. But you gotta try to put yourself, compare yourself to a person that you wanna be. And you gotta see, okay, what would this person do? That's what I think. Or the person I wanna be, want to the person that I want to be wouldn't do this, wouldn't do that, wouldn't do that. So that's pretty much what I think, Bruno. Right? And
Yeah,
I always try to, and you get better at it. You can start multiplying, and how fast you can change your opinion, your actions about the things that you're gonna do.
So what you would say you like intuitively ask yourself those questions?
I don't even ask. Uh, it became most of the time it's so active. That's the way I do it. Don't even think. I just I don't work for Nike, but just do it. Don't
Yeah,
even
but
think about.
yeah, but like, you've been a kind of like an athlete now for like 8 years, 8, 9 years. But
Yeah.
before that, like you were not this. You were fat. You were like you weren't really into sports. Like what, you know what I mean? Like what there you know what I mean? Like what happened?
Well, uh, I believe I told you that already, Bruno. But what happened is that I felt that I was um, distancing myself literally from you. Not being close to you, close to the things that you were doing. That at the time, it's more like 15 years ago, right? That you start doing Hapkido, and I was leaving my bad habits back in the day. So I had to take actions because I didn't want to lose my son. Um, I felt like my family was falling apart and my bad habits were taking over. So that's when that's love. That's love really came together to rescue that, and that brought me the power, and I don't ever want to let that go again, because from that day on, I mean, our relationship just built on and on and on and on, and it could be something else, but end up being sports, right? Which he end up being great, and from back then, I mean, we've been together since you started Hapkido, right? That's when you really start getting really close. You were what, Brun, there? That's 15 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah, 15, 16. It's like as soon as we moved back to the US, it's when I found that gym, right? So it must have been like 15.
Yeah. So, and it was a choice, really. And okay, I want to be healthy. I want to do things with you, and that's what brought me to the sport. And then, of course, when you start getting healthier, and then that was because of Bruno, but then something else came more like because of me, things that I liked to do, like doing the Ironman, doing ultra running. So all these things came to life. I don't ever want to let it go. So I just keep doing things that makes me healthier, and not just mentally, physically, spiritually. As I grow older, these things get better and better. So that's the way I feel, Bruno. I don't know if I explained well.
I mean, yeah, I have to stop myself from crying a little bit.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, was you the reason why all this started? Was really you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. I went to go train jiu-jitsu yesterday, and man, I trained with a guy that was 58 years old, and like he was 78. And it was such a kind of an eye-opening experience to see like this person made so many bad like habits, has so many, he must have bad habits, right? So many habits and choices. Maybe he's a great person, I don't know, but at least physically this guy looks old, you know
God
this
knows
guy.
what he's done with his body, right?
Yeah, man, like this guy did not choose to prioritize, and it doesn't even matter, but like it's kind of important to like prioritize how you age, how you look. You know what I mean? Like, man, like you're almost 60.
60 in September. Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy. You're almost 60. You know what I mean? And like you look at your skin. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like
And I've
it's
been through some rough time, believe
yeah,
me.
yeah. You used to smoke cigarettes, right?
Yeah, I used to. I used
But you
to.
stopped, right? And so that
Yeah, I
plays a
quit,
massive role.
quit,
And
quit
you're
drinking,
always
quit
outside.
smoking. Yeah,
Yeah, you're always outside in the sun. You know what I mean? You're working out. You sleep well. The nutrition, the recovery. You have a loving wife. You know what I mean? Like all these things, they show, right? It's like you're at the end of the day, like you're a result of your habits, right? You start making
yeah,
bad habits, you're gonna show. It's gonna show up.
yeah. And we were talking about this today with a friend. And he said, "Well, man, people that I used to hang out with, he's 62. I mean, he's pretty beat up, but he's still here. But he said all my friends that when we were younger, they were drinking. Like, oh, everything's okay, everything's okay. No, it's not okay. The the check will come, and you're gonna have to pay for it. I mean, sooner or later, and
Yeah, it's
the
kind of
sooner
scary.
you realize that you have one life, and then did we talk about this like for example, for whoever's listening now, um, you always complain that you have like a 100 problems, always something happening. You always have a problem to solve because this happened to me, that happened to me. It's your car, it's your family, it's money, it's this and that. And you have all these things going on in your life, which is okay, you just gotta manage this. But try don't have like your health in your hand. Try to be in bed. You're not gonna have any other problem. You're only gonna have to take care of your health because you could not walk, you cannot go to the restroom, you cannot get up, you need people to assist you. Then all the other problems disappear. You're only gonna have one problem. It's your health. But then you gotta choose which one you wanna take. You wanna have one problem or you wanna handle like 100 problems. I rather handle 100 problems and have my health really in check, you know? So make a
Yeah,
choice.
yeah, yeah. I find it really interesting that you bring up family as a way, as a something that helped you change your habits. Because when it comes to changing your habits, uh, a big part of it is what environment you put yourself in, right? The kind of people that support you, or the kind of people and environments that are destructive to you. Um, you know, there's I don't know how much you know about how much therapy I did, but I have done some therapy, and one of the exercises in therapy is talking to your child self. And so part of the process is there's a child inside of you that is scared and is, confused, distrustful. And so it's your responsibility as the adult to talk to that younger version of yourself and comfort it and show it that now you have um control over the environment that it lives in, right? You guys were excellent, near perfect parents, but there's still parts of my childhood that fucked me up, right? Things that were outside your control, things that you thought were right back then that you didn't know any know better. And so it is my responsibility to heal myself. And I think that's like a really big part of changing your habits, because there's like an unconsciousness. There's an unconscious behavior to destroying your life. Like I have a client who is now a recovered addict, but he still goes to AA like 5 times a week. I think he goes every single day of the week. And he recently tried to help someone that he met during AA. And this person ended up sabotaging themselves from receiving my client's help. And you think, man, you're in AA already. You already acknowledged you want the help. And then when somebody helps you, you fuck it up, right? And so it's a little bit, I'm kind of like getting into the weeds here, and I might be kind of not really linking the pieces together because you were influenced to change based on the love that you had for your family, right? Some people, maybe they don't have a supportive family, but that's not an excuse to just not do it right. And so what I think I'm trying to say is, if you don't have a supportive family, then potentially the next best step is, maybe there's healing that needs to be done internally to be able to see kind of new possibilities and new opportunities.
Yeah, Bruno. Family is a thing that either you make it or you break it. You know, it's, I mean, if you don't have a supportive family, you better find your next group that you can get some support. Because, I mean, if you don't have a supportive family, I mean, that would make things really tough. You gotta be, I mean, extraordinary. You gotta be really strong to receive all the negativity and still go on. So if you're a parent and you're listening this year, just just rethink your actions, and because you might be changing the path of your kids, your son that might not be a kid, might be an adult, but you know, his future might depend on how you act on whatever dreams your son, your daughter is having now. So you got to be supportive. Not all the time. I believe what Bruno wanted to do, but I mean, who are you to tell? I mean, all you can tell is your experience, and that's what makes us who we are. And Bruno, till to this day, right, Bruno, you still ask us what do we think about this, what do you think about that. I mean, we may give our opinion about the way we think things are gonna roll from that point, but at the end of the day, it's you that's gonna have to make the final decision. And whatever decision you make, I mean, it's the parents, it's the family responsibility to support. Of course, you don't want your kid to make a bad decision and you still be supportive to that. But right, let's be clear on this here. Don't even have to tell that. But you gotta support. You gotta make sure that they go on with their dream, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest blessing I had in life was having such supportive parents, you know? I feel like the way that I'm able to solve problems and look at problems is because of how you guys taught me. And not only what you taught me, because it's like, I love that saying, don't do as I say, do as I do as I say.
Well, that came from my dad. Do what I say, but don't do what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's someone that is doing some bad things, you know.
Yeah. But you guys were always pretty consistent with what you said you did. You know what I mean? And what you did, you're like, yeah, this is what we did, you know? And so it always made me be like, okay, well, I want to live that way too. I don't want to have like a double life. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm saying I'm doing this, I'm fucking doing this. Like, That's just it is, right? Oh, which brings us to some one of the final points of this podcast because it's running kind of long, but I don't I don't mind it. Uh, which is fear of failure. I feel like this is such a huge part in changing your bad habits into good habits. Having the having the I don't know what the word would be. It's like you have to self-love to know that if you make a mistake, that is not a reflection of your self-worth. I have a client right now she's in the process of losing a lot of weight, and we're helping her track her macros, and we're working out together. She's doing everything right. And about like the first week or second week we were working together, I texted her. I'm like, "Hey, how's the diet going?" And she's like, "I ate really bad yesterday and I felt really bad about it, and I didn't track what I ate. I didn't put it into the app to tell me how many calories I ate, right?
Mm.
Because it's a shameful, man. It feels so shameful to put your mistake on paper and see like, "Oh, I fucked that up. I did that." But what I told her, it's like, that doesn't mean you can't just continue and learn from that mistake, right? It's like this thing is like you don't start when you make a mistake, you don't start from zero. You start with it. You start with experience. Now you have one other thing to know to kind of help you not do the same mistake again. Thomas Edison is famous for saying he was asked like, "What do you think about all these other inventions that didn't produce the light bulb?" Right? Because he produced the light bulb, right? And he goes, he was asked like, "What do you think of all these other mistakes that didn't build a light bulb?" And he goes, "These aren't mistakes. These are just 1,000 other inventions that don't build the light bulb. That's it." Right? And so that's I think super important, man. Like you cannot look at mistakes as a reflection of your identity. It's just a it's just a lapse in judgment.
Yeah, but also when you talk about this, Bruno, I think it's important to say that you got to try to minimize the chances of failing. So how do you do this? You make the habit so small that you can't fail, right? You make this habit. I mean, if you want to start running, don't start saying that you're going to run 30 minutes because you're setting up yourself for failure. You know, put it there. I'm going to run 5 minutes. I'm going to run 2 minutes. Or I'm not going to eat for 1 hour. Don't say that you're not going to eat like if you used to eat sweets, like 10 sweets a day. I'm not going to eat nine. I'm just going to, no. I'm going to eat nine, not going to eat 10. Make it so easy. It's easy. Don't eat one. It's easy to run 5 minutes, 3 minutes a day. Most likely you're not going to fail on that. So don't set yourself up for failure. Make at the beginning this new habit so small that you cannot fail. So that's one good thing that I could tell you that will definitely help.
Yeah, for sure. It comes down to it, man. It's you cannot rely on willpower. It just doesn't work, man. Like
Yeah,
it will work for a little bit or like one day or something like that, but you need to have a system. You need to have a system. What's been helping me lose weight is I know I know what hours of the day I'm hungry. I know exactly what time I'm hungry. Every day I have like a schedule. I put it on my phone. It's like these hours of the day I'm hungry. And so I'm always gonna have food ready. I bring food with me. So when that and it hits, my food is on me. I don't have to think, oh shit. Because the problem also, and maybe we're just getting into the weeds now, but I find it so interesting, is a huge problem with changing habits is decision fatigue. Okay, because the problem is this: you go, I have a bad habit, I need to change it. What can I do? But instead of you thinking ahead of time and be like, okay, when that trigger shows up, I'm gonna do this. You you have the trigger and you go, oh shit, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna do something else. But now you have a bunch of decisions to make, and maybe you'll do the right decision on one day. You're like, oh yeah, today I didn't drink after work. Cool. But did you plan that, or was it just willpower? Because maybe you slept more, maybe the work, uh, work wasn't that hard. You know what I mean? Maybe like the conversation you had right before you had to make the decision was good, so you had the energy to do it. So all this shit, it's like you cannot rely on like, yeah, I'm gonna have power, I'm gonna have willpower. That stuff also super important to help you not do the thing that you're trying to avoid.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree with. So this is small decisions that you can make and can make the whole difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
I think
right.
we should wrap.
Yep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're good for this one here. Do we know? I guess people, if you have any questions, if you have like comments about this podcast, please put your comments in there. I mean, we're just getting started. We have so much to say. We have so many other topics that you want to bring up. Did we decide what our next topic will be? Not
Not
yet,
yet.
right?
Not yet. Maybe, yeah, maybe we'll look at the list. If people have something to that they wanna hear us say, then just, comment below, and then we'll see if we have anything to say.
All right. Beautiful.
Okay. Alright,
All
thank you,
right.
people listening. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you for listening here.
Okay. See you
Yeah.
guys.